What's up? What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, and welcome into the Ricky Widmer Show, the show where I talk about pretty much everything going on in the world of sports that matters to me, if I'm putting it frank, because I'm not going to talk about things that I have no knowledge on. But yeah, I pretty much talk about all sports, and if you're new to the show, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome back. Remember, hit that like button if you like what you see. If you love it, hit that sub button. And then as Philly fans say, ring the bell. Ring the bell if you want to stay notified. Ring the bell. Take that sledgehammer. Ring the bell, Triple H style. But we got a jam-packed show. Well, I shouldn't say jam-packed show. Usually the last couple shows, we've had a lot to talk about. Now, I will say, because of my busy week, I've missed 2 days this week. The Carlos Correa news did drop. Could have inserted it here. I'm going to leave it for my MLB kind of deals grade video that I'm working on. So I'm going to sit there and kind of put that to there. I need to mention congratulations to Alexander Ovechkin, for getting 800 goals. I wish you kind of would have done it against the Oilers or the Flames, because apparently beginning of the year, I put $10 on each of those, and I don't remember that. Do not remember it at all. So, wish you would have done it against one of those teams, but congratulations for doing it against the Blackhawks. But we got NBA and NFL today, only 3 things I'm talking about. And, for the NBA, I kind of told you this week, most of the stuff we're going to talk about is trade rumors, because from now, pretty much today's the day. Today is December 15th, meaning there is a plethora of guys that can now be traded after today, and we don't have to do the trade machine thing. Well, they were recently signed, so they can't be put in a deal, but it works. No. Things will start to work after today, and the first team I'm talking about is the Dallas Mavericks, because we've been talking about it for a while, for numerous years now. The big question is, are the Mavericks going to be able to pair a star or give Luka Doncic some help? We thought when they brought in Christian Wood that, okay, that would give them some help, but it's kind of been injured some games, hasn't really been. We're still asking that question is basically what we're doing. And for the Mavericks here, I just want to lay everything out that they have. So what they have to offer in a trade is draft picks that they can give up. They can trade their 2024, they can trade their 2026, they can trade their 2028. Because of recent deals, they can do pick swaps for the years in between. So 2020 or 2025, 2027, 2029, those will be pick swaps. 24, 26, 28, those can be just traded outright. Salary filler, contracts that they can use to fill things up. You've got Davis Bertans, Reggie Bullock, Maxi Kleber. These are the guys that, and if I'm going to look at Fanspo, I'm going to bring them up real quick so I have it on my laptop in front of me. You look at those. Bertans is about $16 million a year. He still has 3 years left, though. Reggie Bullock has 2 years left, but he's a $10 million contract. And then the last one I said was Maxi Kleber. He's got $9 million, and he's got 4 left. Now, the thing with Maxi that'll be interesting is there was news from Shams, I believe. If my Twitter still has it here, I'll give you, Mavericks forward Maxi Kleber will miss 6 to 8 weeks due to a sprain in his right knee. So that'll be interesting. Injured players being traded is usually a no-no, so maybe you take him off the board. And then you have expiring contracts. Dwight Powell and Christian Wood are your expiring contracts at the end of the year. You have Christian Wood, who's a $14 million contract, and then you have Dwight Powell, if I can find him here. His is $11 million. So you've got a plethora of big kind of meaty contracts to use. The thing is, who are you going to go get? And the 4 names that I've seen, and I'm just going to say them and then kind of break down each one a little bit. The 4 that I've seen are Julius Randle, Nikola Vucevic, Miles Turner, and John Collins. Julius Randle's interesting to me. I don't think a deal gets done for Julius Randle. I think the Knicks aren't looking to sell. The Knicks are looking to bring in a star. So I look at Julius Randle and I kind of push that away. No, that's not going to happen. The Knicks aren't sellers. First one, though, that is in the realm of possibility, I say the Chicago Bulls. And articles that I've seen, have Vucevic and Turner in this same space of, do you want to go give up potential draft assets for Nikola Vucevic, for a Miles Turner, when these guys are free agents at the end of the year, or could be free agents? You can just try to win them over by throwing money at them. Here's the thing with Nikola Vucevic, and if you don't know, I'm a Bulls fan, so I've thought about Nikola Vucevic. He kind of lives rent-free in my... does not live as rent-free as Kobe White. Kobe White's got a lot of the rooms in my head kind of booked up, but there are a few nights where the vacant rooms up there do belong to Nikola Vucevic, of what do we do with Nikola Vucevic? Because I'll be honest, I don't think it's working. I don't think the Bulls are working, and I know this isn't a Bulls segment, but I'm going to rant whenever they're brought up. The problem with the Bulls is, if Lonzo was out there, it'd be a different story, but bottom line, Lonzo's not out there, so it's not working. So what do the Bulls do? Do the Bulls say, no, we're going to stick to plan, Lonzo's going to get healthy, this is all going to work out? Or do they say, well, we didn't expect this to happen, we now need to react to it and kind of change our plan, or see if we need to change our plan? And I'll be honest, I don't think the Bulls are. I think the Bulls are going to, from what I'm expecting, and this kind of goes off of the Billy Donovan news that we got, that they gave him a contract extension silently in the night at the beginning of the year. I think the Bulls are going to stick to plan. I think the Bulls are going to extend Nikola Vucevic. I don't think they're even going to let him hit free agency. I don't think they're going to look to trade him, even though they might, because the package that you could get for a Nikola Vucevic, even if you're getting any draft picks or pick swaps from pick swaps don't matter, because the Bulls, I think, are going to be behind the Mavericks in the standings, because the Mavericks are just a better team. But I look at it, and any first round picks you can get from the Mavericks are good. It's good. Any draft picks you can get. However, like I said, I think the Bulls are going to stay to plan. Nikola Vucevic will stay a Chicago Bull, which leaves Miles Turner and John Collins. These are the two that everyone expects to be traded. Will they be traded? If I'm the Mavericks, the only one I am trading for right now, this season, is John Collins. And the reason why is because he's not an expiring contract. With Miles Turner, and this is another it kind of bleeds into my ultimate point of why I ultimately think that the Mavericks aren't going to make a deal. Miles Turner, like I said, unrestricted free agent end of the year. I'm not going to give up everything now just to get him, and I might lose him. What if he comes, he doesn't like it, boom, he leaves. Or something happens, someone throws him more money, he leaves. Anything happens, he leaves. Then I gave up everything for 1 year. And I think the question that the Mavericks need to ask themselves, and they're an organization that you don't have to worry about. Their owner is very smart. I think they're a well-ran team in the NBA. They are going to look at this and go, hey, can we win a finals this year? How open is our window to win a finals if we make this move? That's the question that needs to be asked, because I don't think that they do make a move, because I don't know if they will make the finals. Because with me, here's my thought on the entire Western Conference. The Western Conference is probably the most open, the most wide open that we have seen in years. And what I mean by that is you look at the top of the conference. There's no one team that I look at and go, that's the best team in the Western Conference this year. That is it. There's no Utah Jazz this year. Last year, the Jazz ran out. The Jazz, they're number one in the West. Oh my God, they've got the best record. Right now, we're tied at the top. You got the Pels and the Grizzlies tied. I do not think there is one team that I look at and go, they are the best team in the West. However, an amendment to that, and maybe this is just me because I am kind of a closet fanboy for this team, the Warriors are still part of the Western Conference. I do believe that no matter where they are, seeding does not matter for this team. That if the Warriors are healthy, Steph, Poole, Clay, Wiggins, Green, Looney, if they are healthy, they are the best team in the Western Conference, and they will probably make the finals unless something happens injury-wise. They are that good. However, Curry just got an injury last night. It's going to have an MRI. I mean, this team has been injury-riddled, so we'll have to see what happens. That's why I'm not saying for sure, oh yeah, Warriors, book it, they're in the finals. But if they're healthy, they're the best team in the finals. That's just what they are. That's how it goes. And I look at it, and with the Mavericks, that's why you got to look right now. They are the 9th team in the standings. How much of a run are they going to make if they pair a John Collins or a Miles Turner with Luka Doncic? I don't think it's that big of a, yes, if we get John Collins, we're making an NBA Finals and winning it. I just don't think so. So if I'm the Mavericks, I still search around, see if the right deal is there, but unless it's not 100% perfect, I'm not making a deal this year. You do not have to sell the assets just to go ahead and try to get Luka someone right now. Now, if you can get more draft assets for a Christian Wood, for who's the other expiring contract? Dwight Powell. If you can get draft picks for them to then use in a future deal at some point, go ahead. But I do not think that a John Collins or a Miles Turner gets you over the hump to say, yes, we are winning an NBA Finals. But hey, I may be crazy. Let me know what you guys think down below. Mav fans, I want to hear from you. What do you guys think? Is it wide open? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Let me know down below in that comment section. All right, and let's end today's show looking at the world of football. And I'm looking at a team that I know right away people are going to say that, oh, there's biasy here because Ricky's a Minnesota Vikings fan. I'm putting it out there for you guys. I'm putting out there, wrong arm, putting out there that I bleed the purple and yellow. Bleed the purple and yellow. But there's going to be no biasy here as we are talking about the Detroit Lions. They are setting the world ablaze this week. First off, they beat my Vikings, which I'm not happy about, but our defense sucks. What can you do? And the Lions played great. You got to give it to them. Also, everyone's talking about Motor City Dan Campbell on the Pat McAfee show. Everything he was talking about, like the one where, hey, I'm just watching the crowd doing the wave, man. And I get asked the questions like, oh, yeah, that's fine. Oh, wait, what the hell are we doing? And then they throw to Penny Sewell and it works. But we're talking about the Detroit Lions today because the question is, can this team make the playoffs? And what do they need to do? I'm going to look at it. Can they do it? I'm going to answer this question today. Before I get into that, though, join the Discord. Links down below in the description because you can have great conversations like the one I'm about to kind of display a little bit. And I know people like Jake Never would be like, hey, why you got to go be outing people like this? But I don't think we're outing. So to me, first off, why are the Lions in this situation? Why are the Lions good this year? The question I have, this is a meaningless little question for the Detroit Lions faithful. How much credit do you guys give to Motor City Dan Campbell? How much credit? Because this is a little exchange that happened in our Discord. So it was right after the Lions had beaten the Vikings. Kai, who I love in our Discord, asked me what happened because he's a Lions fan. I'm a Vikings fan. He said, trade for our tight end and we still kick your butt. Maybe you should have added some defense. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I know. Our defense sucks. I then made a comment where the Lions play the Vikings close. Motor City Dan Campbell doing great things in Detroit. Kai then responds, I mean, is he? Without Ben Johnson, the Lions wouldn't have very many wins. When Dan Campbell was calling plays, we were shite. I said MCDC's best skill is building the culture. He's building a culture of winning, which is something Lions fans haven't felt before. Kai then used the cap emoji. Said cap. So, Lions fans, I want to hear from you. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Because here's the thing with the Lions, and I actually love the Lions this year. And the reason why I do is I've loved them ever since Hard Knocks. And when I say love them, I'm a Vikings fan. When we play the Lions, I want to beat the Lions, but it's hard not to root for this team, man. It's hard not to look at the Lions this year and go, hey, you know, I'm upset that they're winning. It's hard. It's hard to be upset that they're winning. I kind of want them to win. I want them to be good. It's kind of like, it reminds me of, maybe it's because I know, like, I'm going to put myself in Lion shoes. I know how it feels to have a turnaround where your team sucks for so long, and then you kind of start turning it around, make the playoffs, and in that case, we eventually won a World Series. Being a Cubs fan, I know that feeling. I feel like there are 3 fan bases that can sit down at the bar and know exactly how each other feels. Lions, Maple Leafs, Cubs, all of them. The only difference now is the Cubs have felt greatness. The Cubs have won a World Series, so maybe not as much, but all of them could kind of talk about the bad days. And each and every one of those fan bases will be like, yeah, now I know that feeling. I've been there before. I've been there many times. Oh, yeah, I know that one. So maybe Cub fans pre-2010, ones that grew up in the 90s, grew up in the early 2000s, grew up in the 80s, the 70s, the 60s. Maybe we are the only ones that kind of can be there. But the Lions and Maple Leafs still stand. My point being, this team, Motor City Dan Campbell, has changed the culture in my mind. He's come in since day one, and I remember him saying it in his press conference. He said it in, there was a clip of him talking to the front office or talking to Detroit Lions fans. It's like, hey, we're going to start winning, man. We're going to do it, man. We're going to do it for you guys. We're going to come and support you. Like, we're going to win for you. He's done it. And the thing that it is I feel like that's a very important skill. Now, yes, you got to have other people around you. And Dan Campbell, I feel like Kai is right. There are other people that have done this. It's not all one person. The coaching, like during Hard Knocks, it was impossible not to fall in love with that coaching staff. The Lions right now are doing the right things, and it's working, and it feels good, especially if you're a Lions fan, to look at that and say, hey, you know what? It's working. This feels good for once, because I know Kai talked about you won in Jim Caldwell era. Looking at it, you only had 3 good, in the last how many years since the 90s? You've only had 3 winning seasons. It was the 2011 season, which was a Jim Schwartz, may the Schwartz be with you, year. Lost in the wild card round. You were the 2nd team in the division that year. 2nd team in the division? 2nd team in the division. Then you had 2014 and 2016, which were both Jim Caldwell's. My only asterisk to that is you had Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford was better than everyone thought. Everyone was like, oh, he's good, but he plays for the Lions, goes to the Rams, wins a Super Bowl. So Matthew Stafford was a big reason why you guys we're good. Also, one of those golden, I think it was the 2014 year. Yeah, it was Golden Tate's first year with you guys. I think it was a top 5 receiver in receiving yards that year, huh? You put a 4,200-yard quarterback like Matthew Stafford with Golden Tate and don't expect good things to happen? I digress. However, can the Lions make the playoffs this year? Can their culture do it alone? No. Here's the thing. Coming into today, we've got the 49ers and the Seahawks play today. This game's going to matter to the Lions because the Seahawks are one of the teams right now. The bottom of the NFC is the Commanders at 6, the Giants at 7, Seahawks at 8, Lions at 9. And you've got the Commanders and Giants are both 7-5-1. Seahawks are 7-6. Lions are 6-7. So let's look at this real quick. Let's go over each schedule, see where I see wins and losses, and can the Lions do this? First and foremost, the Lions can get away with maybe one loss in their final 4. But in order to do this, I feel like they have to win all 4. So I'm just going to say Lions need to win out. Who do they have in their final 4? Well, they play at New York this week, which should be a win. And the reason why I say should be a win is because the Jets kind of seem like they had a really good week against my Vikings and then a really bad week against the Bills. Which Jets team are we going to see? Are the Jets running out of fuel, pun intended, at the wrong time? Then you go to Carolina. That should be a win. Carolina's looking to try to climb up that draft board. Then you look at your last 2, Bears at home, Packers on the road. There could be some, hey, we gotta beat the in-division rival. I feel like the Lions should be able to win both these games. The Packers have been playing a little better. Maybe Aaron Rodgers plays up a little bit. Hey, I gotta spoil Detroit's fun because that's what I do. He spoiled Detroit, went to his penthouse on the Gold Coast and said, hey, I own you guys. But maybe Aaron Rodgers does that. I think there's a good chance, though, the Lions could win out. If they do, what do they need to happen? Well, first off, you need the Seahawks. If you win out, you need the Seahawks to lose 2 games, 2 of their next 4. If the Lions lose 1 game in their next 4, they will then need the Seahawks to lose 3. And the reason why I say that is right now, the Seahawks are 1 game ahead of you. They're 7-6, you're 6-7. They also own the tiebreaker over you. They beat you early in the year. So if you guys end up tied, boom, they beat you, boom, they move on. You can't be tied with them. So if you win out, you need them to lose 2. If you lose 1, you need them to lose 3. Their next 4. They get the Niners tonight. Could be a loss. I'll be honest. The Niners with Brock Purdy have been playing pretty well. Maybe the Niners go in and beat the Seahawks tonight. If they do, Lions fans are ecstatic. Then they go to KC next week. That's a loss. I like the Chiefs in that game. Then they have the Jets, which should be a win. I'll give them a win like I gave you because I'm not high on the Jets trending down. And then the Rams. The Rams is a toss-up game because the Rams are going to be out of it. But if Baker Mayfield's playing, Baker Mayfield might be doing some pretty good things. Look at what he did against the Raiders. So I think there's 2 losses. It's either the Niners and Chiefs, Rams and Chiefs. Ideally, dude, if they lose the Niners, Chiefs, Rams, Lions are in for sure. But the point being, there are 2 losses there. There are 2 losses there. Can the Lions win out? And then the Giants and Commanders, there's a possibility you gotta beat one of those because you gotta get to 7. Like beating the Seahawks, okay, that gets you to the 8th place. You need to get 7 to get in. Commanders and Giants play this week on Sunday Night Football. Now, they did tie the last time they played. Because of that, if there's no tie again, whoever wins this game will have the tiebreaker between them if they end up tied. Because they have that tie, unless the Lions tie one of their final games, they're always going to have an advantage on you if you end up with the same number of losses. So because of that, if you win out, you would need them to lose you would need one of them to lose 3 games. Because if one of them ends with 7 losses, that tie is going to push them over. So who do they have? The Giants have, obviously, the Commanders. Somebody's got to lose. Somebody. Well, maybe not. They both tied. Then they play the Vikings. Could be a loss. I hope it's a loss for the Giants, but our defense has been bad. Colts, they should beat the Colts. And then Eagles, I put loss question mark because the thing with the Eagles game that'll be interesting for the Giants is, are they resting guys? Have they solidified the first round bye? And are they going to say, hey, you know what? We've solidified home field throughout. We've solidified the bye. We're going to rest Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown. We're resting our big guys this week. Give them 2 weeks off so that they're ready for the divisional round. That's why there's a question mark there. So there could be 3 losses if the Eagles play their guys in the final week, but there's a possibility that there's only 2. The Commanders. Hopefully someone loses. Giants, you got to then hope for the Giants to win. Whoever loses that game, you're hoping for them to then lose 2 more. So let's say Giants win. Then you got the 49ers on the road. 49ers could beat the Commanders, should beat the Commanders. Well, let's be honest. Brock Purdy's been playing up. That's the only reason why I think it's even a question. Then you have the Browns. Commanders should beat the Browns. And then you have the Cowboys. Same kind of question. If the Cowboys have solidified a spot and there's no going to a loss doesn't affect our seed, they may also be looking at this going, you know what? We're going to go ahead and rest guys. But if the Cowboys play, Cowboys should beat them. So really it depends on, with the Lions, this Sunday night game between the Giants and the Commanders is so important. Sorry for the jump cut there. Had a cough, my voice, a little tingle. Had to cough. I cut that out. But what I was saying, if the Commanders win, I'm going to start with them. I don't know if I did, but if the Commanders win, you're really putting your hands in the face of the Vikings and the Eagles. And with the Eagles, like I said, they're probably going to rest guys that last week because they're probably going to have that first round bye wrapped up. If the Giants win, that is the best case scenario for the Lions because the Commanders play the 49ers, because the Cowboys probably will not have a seeding locked up to where they're resting guys. Let me pull up the standings very quickly in this. So with the playoff rankings as they are right now, you've got Dallas. Yeah, Dallas is actually at 10-3. They are the 5th seed. There's a chance neither of these teams lose 3 games because it all depends on Cowboys, Eagles, who's resting guys that last week, if they rest guys at all. So right now I'm going to say, Lions fans, I'm pulling for you guys. I mean, maybe I shouldn't because odds are you'd get the last seed and then play us. And that would suck if you guys beat us in the playoffs. But I look at this and I go, if I have to make my prediction today, whoever wins this Sunday night football game between the Commanders and the Giants, they're probably going to go. They're probably going to move on and be the team that represents the NFC with the final spot in the playoffs or the final 2 spots because, I mean, whoever wins will probably end up being 6, but even 7, there's a chance, but it's slim. I think that it's going to be hard for the Commanders or the Giants to be knocked off, but this is where you guys let me know, Lions fans, down below. What do you guys think? Am I being too hard? What do you think is going to happen down the end of the line as we get the last 4 weeks to the regular season? That is going to do it, though, for the Ricky Widmer Show today. Thank you guys for checking it out. Remember, if you like the show, hit that like button. If you loved it, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. Ring the bell if you want to stay notified for when I put videos up here on MVP Sports. Thank you guys again for everything you do. And as always, have a good day, everybody.